Who wants to do number one first?
I have a feeling I already know. Here's the thing, guys. We've already done this video before, and Darius is number one. I'm hoping he's changed it, but I know in the last video, I'm not gonna say it just in case it is still your little number one hashtag, aka troll number one. Just go ahead and say, Darius, what's your number one supervillain casting of all time?
Number one of all time is
Hey, what is up, guys? It's Joseph here with a good friend of mine. Go ahead and introduce yourself, buddy.
Hey, what is up, guys? This is your boy, Mr. Darries Hill, who does everything on the internet because I'm very desperate for views.
I don't know about everything, but, take it or leave it. But we're going to be doing our top 10 supervillain castings of all time today. So, why don't you go ahead and kick it off? You got any honorable mentions for this list, Darius?
No, because my top 10 is a final top 10. And anybody that would be an honorable mention would be so compared to my top 10. So I don't have any.
Go ahead and give your little number 10.
Number 10. Alright. Number 10 is Heath Ledger as the Joker.
Let's put a smile on that face. Why so serious?
I'm sorry, man. His performance was like so bro. Like, I had to put him at number 10. Like, his number 10 is better than, like, all the other villains, but it's super bro. Like, he could have did so much better.
Yeah, that you didn't do that last time we did this video.
Correct. I did not. I did not.
Oh, man, you're gonna... Okay. The amount of people that's gonna hate you just because they don't understand your little dry sarcasm. Man, okay. Well, my number 10 is Michael Keaton as the Vulture in Spider-Man Homecoming.
He must be Peter. I'm Liz's dad. Put her there. Hell of a grip. Come on in here.
I mean, he played the out of luck, out of desperate father trying to make ends meet for his wife and daughter. One of, I'm trying to think back, but I believe it was the turning point of the villains in the MCU going from pretty crappy to pretty solid.
Yeah, I can see that. It makes sense. I personally don't have a say-so on this because I have yet to look at any of the MCU versions of Spider-Man. If Sony didn't have them and they were on Disney Plus, I might have already seen them, but they're not. So Sony, if you're listening to this, you're a bad person. Or I guess group of people.
Yeah, it's a corporation, Darius. You're number 9.
Number 9. Alright, let me do it again.
Oh no. I got a bad feeling about this.
No, it's fine. Number 9. Is also someone from Spider-Man as well. It's James Franco as Harry Osborn. Because Harry Osborn was the arch nemesis to Peter Parker in the Spider-Man film.
You do realize... Okay, hold on. Are you ranking these or are you just listing them?
I'm 100% ranking these. But the things he does really annoys you.
You do realize we're doing the best castings, right?
Correct. Who does? Who gets amnesia and still tries to get with your girl, bro? That's so...
I don't even know what to say after your freaking picks, dude. I kind of just want to just rattle off all of mine just to hear what you have on yours.
No, like it's gonna start getting serious.
I certainly hope so. I mean, you did a serious one at number 10, then you did a troll one at number 9. Alright, well, like father, like son, because my number 9 is Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man. The voice, the laugh, the look he gave, without the makeup to make it the Green Goblin, he was the source of many nightmares when I was a kid.
I can't really talk about him because I will get into that later.
What's your number 8?
Number 8, this is kind of serious. Liev Schreiber as Sabretooth from X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Oh, God. Are you kidding me?
X-Men Origins Wolverine is an okay film. People hate on this film. It's an okay film. Hugh Jackman does a good job. So does Liev Schreiber, man. People don't give him the respect he deserves.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman was good. Fine, ain't it? But Liev Schreiber, he was... okay. You're just trolling this video, aren't you?
Hey, it's the only interpretation of Sabretooth we have gotten so far.
No. That's not true.
Oh, is there some in the 2000s trilogy?
He was in the very first one.
Oh, that's been a long time since I've seen that film then.
Barry, I don't think he even said a word. Like, he meowed once. That's it. Well, my number 8, Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger in Black Panther. I've already gone on record saying in my ranking of the MCU movies that I think Black Panther is a good movie, but very, 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 very overrated. I don't think it should have been nominated for Best Picture, all that kind of stuff. But Michael B. Jordan, I can make the argument for being the best whole daggone movie.
Yeah, I could too, but again, we'll get into that later, just like Willem Dafoe. Number 7 is Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy. There's nothing really bad to say about her, man. Like, Poison Ivy is, again, a really good DC villain that they just cast it well with Uma Thurman. She looks very, very fantastic in green and red hair. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the look.
I knew you were going to bring the sex appeal into it. Look, I think I've said it in that tier list maker video I did about the superhero movies, that I think Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy was probably the best thing to come out of that movie. Then again, I mean, there wasn't really much good to compare to that movie, so, I mean, you know.
I mean, if we're talking about the, there was also a trilogy, correct?
What?
It was like, Batman and Robin and Batman Forever and stuff like that. If we're also talking about that stuff, Danny DeVito is also good as the Penguin.
Well, speaking of Danny DeVito as the Penguin, that is my number 7.
Wow, very interesting. Look, we're connecting already, bro. See, we're so good at this.
Yeah, hashtag terrible segues. But I mean, Danny DeVito as the Penguin, like Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin, was the source of many nightmares when I was a kid. The way, the makeup, everything about that makeup really, really helped.
Number 6, Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin. Since Joseph already talked about it, I guess this is my turn to talk about him. He was a very, very fun character. He was very expressive, very just into the role. I don't think they could have casted a better person as Norman Osborn at the time. I still don't think they've casted anybody as Norman Osborn yet since. He should come back to the MCU as Norman Osborn.
They have.
Have they?
Yeah, the new Norman Osborn was in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, if I remember correctly, anyways.
I only remember seeing. Oh wait, no. He was in the hospital bed. Correct. In that one scene.
Yeah.
Yep.
Still in it though.
Yeah, still in it.
They'll go from one Sam Raimi villain to another. Alfred Molina as Doc Ock.
Damn, I'm forgetting a lot of people to put on here.
So you have Liev Schreiber as Sabretooth and James Franco as Harry Osborn. But okay.
Which is weird because I think out of all the Spider-Man movies, Spider-Man 2 is probably the one everybody has seen the most.
But yeah, Alfred Molina took a character who wasn't really all that interesting. I like the Vulture. I kind of saw him as like a high-pitched, cackling kind of voice of a character and turn him into a sympathetic villain that had a lot more depth than what I originally gave the character credit.
Most Spider-Man villains are kind of B tier, but since Spider-Man's like a just kind of save the city type of person, that puts the B tier and A tier for Spider-Man terms. Because they're not trying to go overboard, they're just trying to do stuff that seems semi-realistic. But yeah, Doc Ock was a really cool villain. He was responsible for the train scene, which is the best scene in cinematic history.
That I won't agree with. It's not even the best scene in superhero movie history. Alright, well, what's your number 6? Or 5?
It's another repeat that J-Mash just said. My number 5 is Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger. Some people could say Black Panther was a movie that was very disappointing in many factors. We might get into that in a later video. But Killmonger was probably one of the best within the film. Speaking for someone like me who is a man of culture and a man of color, he was really cool, really spoke to home. I don't really know what else. He's just a cool guy. I like his battle scars.
Well, my number 5, the only female to have made this list, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn.
This is interesting because I wouldn't know if I should classify Harley Quinn as a villain or not. I don't really see Harley Quinn as a villain per se, or at least she wasn't portrayed as a villain within these past 2 films.
Well, I haven't seen Birds of Prey.
I mean, with her being the main character still, I guess.
Well, just hang on. I got one for you coming up. That's pretty much the main character of a movie. That's very much the villain of the movie.
These were, for Harley Quinn in particular, I think she was more of an anti-hero.
That I will agree with.
Yeah.
But she's more on the villainous side.
Yeah.
Especially where I'm coming from with Suicide Squad.
Within Birds of Prey, a lot of people say they took a lot of inspiration from Deadpool within there. So be prepared for a lot of fourth wall breaking within that movie if you ever see it.
I'll see it eventually. It was on my top 10 most anticipated movies. Whether I'll see it in the theaters or not, that's another question. But I mean, Margot Robbie, one of the only few things redeemable about the whole Suicide Squad movie. And this is coming from somebody who actually enjoyed Suicide Squad the first time I saw it in the theaters. Watched it on their HBO like a couple months later, maybe not a couple months later, but not long after seeing it in the theaters, and it was unwatchable, except for Harley Quinn.
Yes, and she was also the inspiration for many females wanting to dress up as somebody for Halloween.
Yeah, or Alexa Bliss.
Going on to number 4 is Mr. Josh Brolin as Thanos. As we are all aware, Thanos was a really nice person within the Infinity War saga. He was very sympathetic as a villain. As like Joseph said, MCU villains weren't really that interesting up until this point. So Josh Brolin's Thanos being the first sympathetic villain was
not the first sympathetic villain.
I mean, you know what I mean. It was very, very interesting. He had all right, not sympathetic, but he had a good reason for doing what he did.
All the good MCU villains had a good reason for what they did.
Going on to Endgame, though, they had to make him a bit more of a villain so that they had a reason to actually defeat him.
My number 4, Michael Fassbender is Magneto.
So is this within the old X-Men or the new X-Men?
The new one. The young Magneto.
I have not seen the new X-Men yet. And probably never will. But continue.
What are you talking about? You've seen Days of Future Past, haven't you? You've seen First Class?
I may have seen First Class, but I think that was it.
You haven't seen Days of Future Past, Apocalypse?
I don't think so, but I could be wrong.
Me personally, I prefer Michael Fassbender over Ian McKellen. Ian McKellen, I'm not saying he did a bad job or anything, but with some of the scenes in particular, the scene in X-Men Apocalypse with him losing his family and killing, I believe it was, thinking that he was hiding out in Germany. So the German officers or whatever was going on, I can't remember. It's been a while since I've seen Apocalypse. But that scene alone was probably the best acting either one of the two did as that character.
Yeah, literally for X-Men, I've only seen the 2000 series trilogy.
Yeah.
I think after that, the only stuff I've seen, just stuff that said Wolverine, and that's it.
Well, you've seen Deadpool.
Yeah, that's true. Sebastian Stan as the Winter Soldier.
See, I'm sorry, I don't see the Winter Soldier as a supervillain anymore.
Yeah, obviously not anymore. But like when he was brainwashed within the first few, and there's argument to be claimed there that, you know, since he wasn't controlling himself within that time, he wasn't really a villain. But I don't know, he was still very destructive within those films.
But he wasn't a villain for long, though.
Yeah, that is true.
I mean, in the timeline of the MCU, he was, but in the timeline of what we've seen,
yeah,
a couple hours with like a 5-minute scene in Civil War.
Captain America 2 was probably one of my favorite films. Well, not really. It's the only one I have on DVD, so I'm more familiar with it than the rest.
Speaking of which, I'm requesting a video for you right now. Your ranking of all the MCU movies.
See, you've asked me of this before.
I know, but this time I'm asking you on video.
It wouldn't be hard to do it, but it would take a very long time. Like most of the films are on Disney Plus. Yeah, but it just takes some time. Probably a month or two. I'm not sure. Those are a lot of movies.
Well, get to work. If I can do it, you can do it. All right. Well, what number are we on?
3. What is your number 3?
My number 3 was your number. Wait, you haven't said this one. Tom Hiddleston as Loki. He was the best part about Thor: The Dark World. Charismatic villain. And you said earlier about what was it? Josh Brolin as Thanos being the first sympathetic villain.
Correct.
Tom Hiddleston as Loki was the first sympathetic villain.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and say number 2. My number 2 is Loki, so I can go ahead and talk about it as well.
Okay.
Loki is he's a great villain. Do I like his sympathetic side? Kind of. I really just wanted to see like an all-out villain, so to speak, for Loki specifically.
I mean, I will say he was more villainous in the beginning than he was at the very end of it. He made that little turn pretty much in Ragnarok was where he made that turn. One can even argue in the Thor: The Dark World he began it, but wasn't until Ragnarok he became basically like a full-fledged on Thor's side. But Tom Hiddleston, before Loki in 2011, you had Jeff Bridges' Obadiah Stane, which I don't know if I would say he was a sympathetic villain. Then you had Abomination from the Hulk, not sympathetic.
Not sympathetic at all.
Whiplash and Justin Hammer, not sympathetic. Red Skull, not sympathetic. Loki was the first sympathetic villain in the MCU.
Correct. Alright, yeah. Oh, yeah, I'll say that much. I haven't seen Thor, like any of the Thor movies. But I have watched Avengers, and Loki was the best part of Avengers. That's all I'll say.
I don't know about the. Oh man. I mean, he was a great part about Avengers, but best part, I don't know.
I mean,
There were a lot of great parts in that movie.
To be fair, for me personally, this might be what's the word? A controversial opinion. Mr. J Mashlove says this might be an unpopular opinion, but I didn't like Avengers that much. It was it felt kind of fast, and I didn't like the whole alien swarm thing. It was weird. Loki was the best part within that, hands down.
Hey! Don't be dissing on my Avengers.
It just felt so weird, man. Like,
but I mean, I want to.
Even Age of Ultron felt kind of weird, to be honest. I didn't really fall in love with the Avengers films until like Infinity War and Endgame and stuff, and I guess Civil War too, if that counts.
I don't know. I wouldn't count that as an Avengers movie, even though some people do. I don't. So Tom Hiddleston as Loki was your number 2.
Correct.
What was your number 3?
Sebastian Stan as Winter Soldier.
Okay, yeah. Then it must have been your number 4. Josh Brolin as Thanos is my number 2. I mean, for essentially a voiceover performance, made you, as Darius said earlier, even though he was wrong in saying he was the first sympathetic villain, he was a sympathetic villain in Infinity War. In Endgame, he was a straight up no sympathy whatsoever villain.
Correct. Very correct.
But Infinity War, fantastic. He was definitely the best villain of the MCU. Is the best villain of the MCU, and I don't think. Maybe I'll be wrong one day. I don't know. I don't think they'll ever make a better villain than Thanos in the MCU.
Hot take. The MCU will never be as popular again like they were up until Infinity War and Endgame.
I don't know if I can agree with that one.
I mean, if they do new stuff, yes, I can see them like still being as popular. But even like before Infinity War came out, people were kind of getting tired of like all the MCU movies coming out, like having similar concepts, similar comedy within them and stuff. It all just started to like mash together.
Here's the thing: the diehard fans is still gonna be popular. Maybe the general public, I don't know, but my kind of people, nah, not at all. Because I'm still excited for the Black Widow. I'm still excited for all the Disney Plus shows. I'm excited for freaking Doctor Strange being a horror movie. Yeah.
All right, the Doctor Strange horror movie sounds very intriguing.
And with X-Men and Fantastic Four coming to the MCU, and Blade and Moon Knight and She-Hulk, and I ain't losing interest anytime soon.
Doctor Strange sounds intriguing. The Loki series sounds intriguing.
The Loki series, the What If.
Not sure about Wonder and Vision.
Do you know anything about House of M?
I do not.
Look into House of M.
Okay.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Alright. So, who wants to do number 1 first?
I have a feeling I already know. Here's the thing, guys. We've already done this video before, and Darius is number 1. I'm hoping he's changed it, but I know in the last video, I'm not gonna say it just in case it is still your little number 1 hashtag, aka troll number 1. Just go ahead and say, Darius, what's your number 1 superhero villain casting of all time?
Number 1 of all time is Jared Leto as the Joker within Suicide Squad. Just like Harley Quinn, he was the standout within that film. I'd say he was miles above what Heath Ledger could have done with the character, but Heath Ledger was just so Jared Leto really put in like a new beginning for like what Joker could be. Even the beautiful, what's his name? Joaquin Phoenix? Even the beautiful Mr. Phoenix could not compare to what Jared Leto has become with the Joker.
Yep, that was your little troll number one from the last video. And you talk about Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker, that's my number one. Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh wow, is it?
Yeah. From one Joker actor to another, yeah, it's probably not the most comic book accurate depiction of the Joker, but if we're all being honest, the only actor in my opinion, the only actor who has come close to comic Joker is Mark Hamill, because he was the perfect blend of the seriousness of Heath Ledger to the comic of Jack Nicholson and Cesar Romero. But as far as live action Joker performances, Joaquin Phoenix takes it to a whole new level. Joker from last year, phenomenal movie. I don't know where I've already announced I'm gonna be doing a top 250 movies of all time. I don't know where Joker ranks. But it's going to be very, 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 very high on that list. No. Spoiler alert.
If I can be serious for 1 second, this movie is actually really good for someone who really loves to see how people depict mental health within films. It was a very interesting watch, even though I haven't watched it, but I've seen a lot of reviews about it. Yeah, just seeing how crazy someone can be within the films is. It's very interesting. Just very interesting. That's all I'll say.
Joaquin Phoenix was pretty much a sympathetic villain.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say villain's a strong word, but yeah, he's very sympathetic within the film.
He was a villain. If you watch this movie and idolize Joaquin Phoenix, he's still doing bad crap, even though people kind of deserve it. He's still doing bad crap.
So what was up with people saying the film was too violent? When it first came out, there was a lot of articles talking about that.
It's not violent. Joker wasn't even the most violent movie that came out last year. Out of the movies that I saw two. One mainly that was more violent than Joker. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The scene where the Manson family invasion. Mm. That was way more violent than anything that happened in Joker. In my opinion, anyways.
But that is our top 10. What are your opinions? What are your top 10 supervillain castings?
Wait, you may have not had any honorable mentions, but I do.
Oh, well, you should have mentioned that.
I didn't want to show my hand too early.
Alright, go for it.
I'm just going to rattle these off, though. Cillian Murphy as Scarecrow in the Batman, well, I'm about to say Batman Begins, but he was technically in all three of them. Dark Knight trilogy. Samuel L. Jackson as Mr. Glass and Unbreakable. I haven't seen Glass, so I can't really comment on that one. And Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio.
I tried to think of someone on the fly, but I could not.
Yeah, sure you can. Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face. Jim Carrey as the Riddler. Those are Darries' 3 honorable mentions. How about that?
Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik in the new Sonic film. Go check that out, dog.
That was our list. Let us know in the comments below what you think of our list. Let me know what you think of Darries' list in the comments below. Go ahead and fire off in the comments below of how much you disagree with his list.
Everybody loves my list.
I don't know about that. Everybody hates your list. How about that one? But yeah, if you got an idea for a top 10 video or whatever kind of video you think you want us to do, comment down below and let me know. We'll get it situated right away as soon as we can. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you enjoy this video, be sure to hit that like button and also hit that share button. And like me on Facebook, JMash97. Follow me on Twitter, JMash97. Follow me on Instagram at JMash_97. All those social media links are in the description below.
J-Mash
Mash
out. Hell yeah! Thank you guys so much for watching. Please, if you would like to, give us your opinions on what you think about our list, and give us your own list. Follow me on Twitter, JMash97, Facebook.
Follow me on Twitter, JMash97. Follow me on Instagram at JMash97. Follow me on Now you got me screwed up.
Facebook at
Follow me on Facebook at JMash97. Shut up!